Hey y'all, welcome back to Regina's Crafting More. I'm Regina and I'm off to the side here. I'm going to be working on this. It is a Veteran red, white, and blue, if you will, um, side seam applique ribbon. I had someone on my in my Etsy shop that sent me a message and asked me if I could do this. Yeah, kind of already have it halfway done or 3/4 of the way done. So we're going to be stitching this. It's not going to be the red, white, and stripes like in the earrings and the gift tag. You're going to be putting your red here and here, your white up here, and then your blue here. Now, I've put in some decorative fill. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me see if I can get a little closer. So this has stripes, and this has stars. This has stripes. You do not have to stitch the decorative fill in here. If you want to use some Patriotic fabrics in here, do that. You don't have to stitch those decorative fills. So let's get over to the cutting table. I'm going to take this from the very beginning. All right, I'm at my cutting table, and I have my scrap t-shirt. You can see that here is the little elf side seam design that I did a test on, made a long video on. And this is the Veteran. Now, they're both 8 inches tall. It's a kind of an optical illusion. I think this one may be 7.98. So anyhow, this is 8 inches tall. Now, what I've done is I printed my template and figured out where I wanted to put it on my t-shirt. If your t-shirt or your sweatshirt has a seam down the middle, that's great. If it doesn't, figure out where you're going to put it. You know, from right underneath, whoops, can't see, right underneath your arm, and make you a seam. Bring it together, press it real good, press you a seam real good, and then this center line is going to go on the center seam. So what I did, because I'm sticking it in the very in a very odd place, okay, I took a pencil and I made a mark. This is a water-soluble pencil. It's just made by Clover. So I took a pencil and I marked here and here, and I pulled it up and pressed my seam. Okay, so I've printed out my template, and I'm putting my template on that seam. Here it is up at the top. I got a blue mark up here, and I've got a blue mark down here. And I'm just going to put a pin that just disappeared. Hang on. Okay, so I'm going to put a pin down here in my hem that's going to end up getting cut off. All right. So that's how you get it on the side of your t-shirt that doesn't have a seam. Very simple. Very simple to center it. And then you take it to your machine, you center your needle right here in the center. If you don't have a machine that has a visual or whatever, if you have difficulty, but you can center it right here, and you know that that design is set where it needs to be. So hang on. All right, I've just switched out my stabilizer. I'm going to try wash away stabilizer. I really don't like the thickness of having those designs on the seam. So, hey, it's just stabilizer. I can use the scraps for something else. You know, what the heck? I pulled out that other stabilizer, the tearaway stabilizer. And I am going to put a few extra clips on this. Let me put an extra one over here if I can get it, because this is thinner. Okay, so I want to really hold this in place. All right, so we're going to try that and see what happens. So I'm going to go over to the machine. All right, so this little piece where I cut, I'm just folding it back before I put my hoop and the embroidery embroidery arm, and then I'm going to stitch my horizontal and vertical lines. Alright, so I've redone my stabilizer. I'm going to do this on water-soluble stabilizer, fingers crossed. And let's see, the first one is in red. You know what? I'm just going to put red thread in for the whole thing. That way I don't have to do any changing or anything. Alright, so the way this is designed, you're going to lay down your fabric. I've been putting steam-a-seam on the back of this, but I had a little snafu a while ago, and I had to redo. So this is what it looks like with white fabric. Now, if you wanted to use your Patriotic fabric, it may not show up, but you don't have to stitch these stripes and stars. And there's stripes up here too. So you could use your Patriotic fabric in here if you wanted to. I'm just using white so you can see what those decorative fills are like. And the last time I did this, when I had the snafu, I put steam-a-seam on the back. I'm going to try it without all that. All right, so step number one is you're going to stitch your guess it helps to bring the design in. Shoot, hang on. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is stitch your vertical and I guess, hello, go to embroidery. It's in embroidery. Stitch your vertical and your horizontal alignment lines for your sweatshirt or your t-shirt, or if you want to put it on the back of a pair of pants at the bottom of the leg. Somebody sent me a picture of that someone had done that with a bow. You could do that with these designs. Okay, so that's your alignment line to get your t-shirt or whatever positioned on your hoop properly. So hang on. Okay, so I have my vertical and a horizontal line. I have my template on my shirt. I just like for something like this to use my template. And since I cut the bottom of this thing out, oh dear, I'm trying to reuse the template. What did I do with that bottom? Hang on just a second. All right, I saved my bottom. All right, so I'm going to align my shirt tails, the tails, okay? I'm just going to use that to help me align here at the bottom. So I don't have to print another template. And if I get it on the lines, hello, if I get it on there, that'll help even more. So I'm aligning it on my cutting mat. And you want to make sure that your shirt or your t-shirt or your sweatshirt bottom is aligned down there. Now let me check up here. You won't be able to see this, but it looks like I'm aligned up there too. All right, so I'm holding this in place while I straighten it out from looking. And I'm going to pin my t-shirt to the stabilizer. You could use some spray adhesive, and well, I'm not going to risk it. Hang on, let me get some pins. All right, so I'm not going to risk it. I've got this lined up right at the bottom. That's lined up, and this is lined up. So I'm going to pin my shirt. There we go. Straighten it out. And I'm going to pin this side to hold it in place. Push it up. Okay. And then I'm going to pin this top. Make sure I'm going to take my pin and stick it up here at the very top and look again. Yep. All right. So I'm good up here. Okay. And I'm going to pin it here. All right, so I've got it pinned to hold it in place. And I'm going to stick a needle through, a pin through just to make sure one more time, because I can see that. Yep. All right. All right, let's get to the machine. All right. I've stitched part of the placement stitch, and it started pushing my t-shirt. I don't know why, so I raised my needle position up a little bit. And we're going to finish stitching the placement stitch for this part of the ribbon. Okay, and it's going to come down here and stitch this. And I hope that a little bit of pushing has not messed everything up. This is an old t-shirt, so I'm just using it for experimentation purposes. I don't know why it's doing that. I guess it may have done it under this one and I just couldn't see it. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to, I didn't see it pushing, but hold on. All right, so I need a piece of material that will go all the way down. If I put it a little crooked, it gets all the way down and covers everything. All right, so color stop number 4 is blue, and it's going to tack down the material. Now I didn't put anything on I can't tell. I didn't put anything on the back of this fabric. Okay. It's about, let me see how wide it is and tall. I can tell you before I cut. Hold on. All right, so this piece of fabric is about 2 3/4 or 2 7/8. Let's see here. 2 7/8 by 8 inches. Okay, so now we've got to cut away this fabric. All right, let me look at this. If you hold your fabric up, crease it along the line. Okay, hold it up, straight up. It will let you get extremely close to those threads. I'm going to go, I've got to be able to cut with my right hand with my right hand, yes. Okay, so keep going. I haven't had a lot of sleep in the last couple of nights, so I'm kind of, whoo. All right, so let's see here. I gotta turn this. Because you do want to be very, very close to that line. You don't want to cut your stabilizer. You're just cutting your fabric that you put on. And then I'm going to trim this center. I'm going to have to trim that some more. All right, let me trim that with... You're not supposed to use your thread snips, if I can find them. All right. These are Femore's squeezers, the titanium. They're wonderful, and I complained to Brent. I don't know if y'all have seen me in the video talking about this, about them losing their sharpness. And he said, well, what are you cutting? And I said, well, thread and my applique fabric. And he went, you're not supposed to cut fabric with those. They're thread snips, not fabric snips. He says, oh my gosh, girl, what are you doing? Okay, so let's put this back on now. And it's going to stitch color stop number 5, which is the stripes. I think this will be a lot softer than this because it had the, I mean, you've got plenty of body with your material, but it had the tearaway on the back. So I'm trying the water-soluble stabilizer. Once you get it on here, it washes off. It should soften up. If anybody has done these with anything other than tearaway, let me know. If you've tried the water soluble, let me know. I can't imagine cutaway. Cutaway's so heavy. Alright, so we're going to be stitching that all down. And I'll be back when it's done. It's going to go up and do these, go all the way around, come down here, and travel down here. And it's going to do these, and I'll be back. Alright, so it is getting ready to start the satin stitching on the bottom part of the first side of the ribbon. Back. All right, it's finished that, and now it's going to do the top. Whoops, I gotta stitch. Okay, so the first color stop, or the first color stop for the top is, and that's color stop number 6, and it's gonna. Whoops, I don't want red in there. I want white. Hang on. All right, so I put in my white thread, and we're going to stitch color stop number 6, which is the placement stitch. It is pink in the machine, but we're putting in white because that's what color the satin stitching is going to be. I'm going to lay this down. I'll put it in here, right. I'm looking for my line. It's very hard to see. Okay, I think that's going to more than cover it. All right, I'm doing my tack down. And that was my tack down. I'm going to cut my fabric away, and since you've watched me do that once, I'm not going to have you watch it again. All right, I've cut my fabric away. I'm going to stitch color stop number 8, which is going to do some lines in there. They're in there as white to match the fabric or the satin stitching and be the red, white, and blue. If you want to stitch it in red, you would need to change your thread now at color before you stitch color stop number 8. You would need to change it to red, but it is white in the machine, and I'm just going to stitch it in white and keep with the red, white, and blue. And you can see it, you probably can't see it on camera, but sitting here looking at it, you can see the stripes on that white fabric. I'll be back. All right, so it's finishing up the decorative fill, and it's doing the satin stitching now. All right, just finished stitching. What's it doing? Travel stitch. I'll take that out. That doesn't need to be there. All right, color stop number 9 is the placement stitch for the blue. All right, so hang on. All right, since this is the blue section, okay, I put in my blue thread. I'm going to stitch the well, maybe. I'm going to stitch the placement stitch. I'm going to put my blue fabric down. Let's see, I want to turn it this way. And I got to position it to make sure that it covers. And it does. So I'm going to stitch color stop 10, which is the tack down of the fabric for the blue part. I'm just going to tack this down. Color stop 11 is going to stitch the stars. All this. I'll let it get started, and then I'll turn off the video so you don't have to watch it. And now, I always repeat this because when we create the decorative fills, it's one line. We don't go back and forth like this does when it stitches. It's something the program does. So if you don't want the decorative fill really bright, really dark, put in a lighter color. But with this red, white, and blue like this, I think that makes it pop. But once again, this going back and forth over the design that's inside is not something that we do. There's no way we can change it because we just create one line. We start here and it goes up here and does that, and it comes and does the star and goes and does that. One line. And that's with all the decorative fills. So like I said, if you don't want it dark, put in a lighter color because the lighter color is going to get darker. So these are the stars, the connected stars. I'll be back. All right, so it's finished with that fill, and it's going to start doing the satin stitching. And this is where it got messed up, so I've changed how that stitches, and I'm hoping that change the direction and everything. Keeping my fingers crossed. Oh no! No, 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 no. Oh gosh. I forgot to cut the fabric back. Crud. All right. Cut that. Let's see if I can get it really close. Oh my Lord. I need to go to bed. All right. Let's keep our fingers crossed. I'm using my thread snips because I know how close I can get them right on top of that line, just about. Oop, okay, that doesn't matter. All right, so let's see if I can do that here. Oh my word, and you're probably being sitting there going, Regina, you didn't cut your fabric back. Okay, so let's see what happens. Regina, cut your fabric. I know I'd be sitting there screaming at the screen. Stop it, cut the fabric. That's pretty darn close. Okay, let's see what happens. Keep your fingers crossed. All right, I'm going to back up. Oh, fiddly dee, I backed up too far. Hold on. All right, so here we've got it done. Hang on. All right, so it finished stitching, and I think because I'm using wash away in here and not tear away, it let this travel, this t-shirt kind of move around a little bit. I would definitely spray the back of the t-shirt to put it onto the stabilizer to kind of hold it in place. But I think it looks great, especially since I did cut my fabric back until a little too late. Hello. Let me let me take a picture of it. Hold on. So my camera's just about dead. My phone, rather. So this is the finished without the word veteran on it. This could be good patriotic, and if I'm not sure if the video caught or not, I would definitely put some spray adhesive on the back of the t-shirt to adhere it to this water-soluble stabilizer before you started stitching. Because I didn't have tearaway in here, cutaway is just way too much, and because this fabric was allowed to shift a little bit, I think, with me not putting any steam seam or what the heck is that other stuff? I'll think about it. I'm too tired. Hot something or another, I think. It just let it shift a little bit, but I don't think that it'll do that. The others didn't do that I used the tearaway stabilizer, but I just didn't like having to tear away and use a little bit of heat to get rid of the pokies on the tearaway. So I wanted to try this wash away method to see how that worked. And I'm going to stitch the word veteran, and I'll be back. Alright, now I'm going to stitch the word veteran. It's in black. If you use black thread, I'm wondering how many of you just hate black thread, because it really never does seem to cover well. I usually put in a black bobbin that has disappeared. There it is. I put in a black bobbin when I'm going to stitch with black. It helps. I just really loathe black thread. Okay. So. Alright. So I've got my black bobbin, and that's threaded. Sorry for my arm in there. And I've got, oh my, oh, I've got another color up here. I forgot to take that out. There we go. That would have been weird. Alright, so let's get started on the text. It does put an underlay under so that the stitches actually have something to hang on to, and it seems to help a little bit. And it is in satin stitching. It's not a fill. Okay, so far so good. Alright, so I'm not going to have you watch all of this because all it's doing is, see, black thread, and I've increased the density of the letters, but I don't want it to be rock hard. I just hate black thread. Alright, so I'll be back when this is done. Alright, so it's finished. The word veteran on here. Let me take it out of the hoop. Alright, so I've unhooped it, taken all the clips off and everything, and I'm going to attempt to trim back as much of this stabilizer as I can. I'm not going to get super close. And remember to move your t-shirt out of the way. Okay. I'm just trimming outside. I don't want to trim any of my t-shirt. That little piece that juts in, so just be careful, you know, where it comes in, where the two ribbons meet. Alright, so I'm going to go up the ribbons. Pushing my t-shirt back so I don't cut it. All right, so I've got water-soluble stabilizer that I can use on something else by sewing them together with water-soluble thread. All right, so let me get something and get rid of that water-soluble. All right, so I just got some hot water, and I'm running it with a Q-tip along the edge of the design to get rid of that water soluble. Putting that point in there. And you could just put the whole thing in the washing machine. But, some of that will wash out, some of it will stay to help give it some stability. And there it is. Alright, so I just stuck my shirt in that water to get rid of all the water soluble. I'm going to pat it dry on a towel and give it a quick gonna iron it. Press it, not iron it, press it. All right, turn this TV on mute. All right, so I soaked this. This is the one I did with the water-soluble stabilizer. I soaked it in some water for just a few, maybe 20 seconds or so, and got all the stabilizer out of it. And now I'm just pressing it to finish getting it dry. I patted it dry as much as I could. I didn't want to crumple it. And I'm just pressing it to get it dry. I've got to cut these off this t-shirt. And I thought I'm gonna cut all these out so I can lay them down. All right. Once you get it dry, let me move this out of the way. And I had a little pleat that was created when I was stitching, and when I rinsed all that out, it's gone. So that is the Awareness Ribbon side seam. This is a little over 3 inches right here. Okay, so that's the Awareness Ribbon side seam design. And that's washing out the stabilizer, getting it off the edges here. And you know what? I really, really like this a lot better. This one is, I use tearaway stabilizer. It's pretty firm. This one is, I think after it dries, it's not quite dry yet. Always press on the back of your embroidery. Don't press on the front. But I think once everything is really dry, it's soft, it's pliable. There's enough firmness in it to, give it stability, but it's not really firm like this. And that's how you use water-soluble stabilizer on your side seam designs. Thanks for watching. Bye.